Hello, my lovely audience. This is take 3, if you can see that. Yeah. God, this is gonna be annoying. I don't know how many takes it's gonna take, so we're gonna keep going. Basically, what if Deku was Abe Sapien? Yeah. Basically, what's gonna happen here is Deku's gonna be kidnapped from his lovely home, and he's going to have. Yeah, he's gonna have no quirk, but he's gonna be kidnapped at 5 because he's quirkless, and they need someone that's quirkless for this because quirkless people are actually overpowered in some way when it comes down to getting a quirk from One for All. I could explain that later in a how quirks work video, but yeah. Anywho, let's get to this video. La-da-dee, I don't know what I'm doing. So what ends up happening here is this. After getting kidnapped, All for One experiments on Deku, and, well, one thing leads to another, and he's turned into a half-man, half-fish, aka an Ichio Sapien. And Deku, well, he is looked for. Everybody's looking for him. And I would say it's around when All Might breaks into that laboratory that, All Might, when he gets his injury, and the heroes are kind of like patching him up, and I would say a few heroes kind of go over to the tank, and they see that it's actually, well, Deku. They see that it's like when they see someone in it, it's like just a outline of a person, really, the shadows, really. And when they open it, they see just a bunch of water come out, and then him, like a man, half man, half fish. And what ends up happening there is this. Deku's basically the first generation Nomu that ever existed. He's number 1. And Kuriguri's, I guess, like number 2? I don't know. But he's number 1 out of the most successful bunch. And what his abilities are basically this. Same as Abe Sapien, alright? But he's got psychometry, so what that is, he can see the memories of an item that he touches. Yeah, so that's basically what I'm gonna be giving him, because I kind of saw Hellboy the movie, and I think that's what he's got. If I'm wrong, you guys can tell me. It's just, it looks like that psychometry. I don't know. If it isn't, explain in the comments what that ability is, and I will change it, because I'm not going to be using it that much in this part, so yay. Alright, so now it's time for the fun parts. So, and also, he's going to have he's going to be having the ability to learn stuff a lot faster, so there's that, and that's awesome. So, basically what's going to happen here is this. After being found, All Might and everyone kind of like take him to a prison because they don't know what he is. They take him to like a research thing, and Nezu's there, everybody's there, and they're all researching him. Guards are there just trying to make sure what's going on. And Deku, he's still in that 5-year-old state, so he does not know what is going on. He's just scared and crying. And what ends up happening is this. I would say a telepathic comes in, because they would have to have a telepathic in this world. And she goes through his mind and sees that it's just filled with pain and more pain and just sadness. And it's really messed up, because she just feels bad for him. And after explaining like what's going on and what they're gonna be probably doing, he kind of like gets up and starts talking to them, saying how he was just scared. He was in there, and they were experimenting on him and everything. And with that, he's kind of able to get up, and he just wants to go back home. That's all he wants. And it's just like, they don't know what to do at this point. They want to send him back home, but they also don't know what he's become. So for the safety of everything, they want to do some tests. And that goes on for a year. and they find out that it's a part of genetic mutations that have occurred throughout his body, where someone has put other people's DNA through his body. And to look at the abilities again, look at them. Well, I think I ever showed you them. So yeah, here's the abilities. They're not in order, but screw it. Anywho, so Deku, being the amazing guy he is, he kind of just wants to get back into his life. So he's handed a bunch of books and stuff like that, material to catch him up, because he's like 10, I would say, around this. Like, he's 10 years of age, and he looks, I would say that they had to, like, do some kind of, like, increased age so he could actually handle this. So he looks about 15. And best thing about, Ape Sapien is that he doesn't age, basically. It's debated, alright? Or he ages much slower, which would make more sense. But yeah, so let's get to it. So they do tests on how long he can stay out of the chamber and, like, water and all that, because they probably had him in a chamber of water this whole time. So yeah, they pretty much see how long he can last, and that's about a week. They also hand him material, and when he's ever out of the chamber, he has to go through this material. And he gets through it to a 5th grade level in, like, 3 days. And it's like, okay, this is getting interesting. And what ends up happening is they find out that he is, like, a information gatherer. And what basically Alpha was going to use Deku for was information gathering. That's basically it. And being, like, some kind of whiz at, like, figuring out stuff and all that. And what ends up happening here is this. So I'm going to say that All Might kind of comes in kind of feeling bad for him and explains that I was the one that kind of helped find you, and I want to help you in every way we can. I'm doing All Might because, let's be honest, he would be the only person that he really sees as, like, a role figure, and the telepathic would have seen that. So basically, All Might comes in and explains everything that's going to happen, and what ends up happening later is, after some steam comes out of him, he says he has to go, and he's sorry he has to go at such a time, and he's going to be returned to his family. So after so long, which is about 2 years of all this, which he is now, like, age-wise 12, but he looks 15, he is back home. And his mother, Inko, is worried sick. She knew about the whole thing. She visited him and everything, but it was just sad. So when he gets back home, everything has been fitted to being able to live how he is. As in, he's got his own, like, little chamber, almost like a pod, into the water. And he's also got a bunch of books. Some that are, like, in, like, that he can just read underwater with, like, a type of iPad, I guess. And yeah, it's just really some high-tech shit. So what ends up happening is this. Deku is overpowered. He's overpowered with this. Also, they figured out that he can do, like, he has insane regeneration because, I'm going to say that when they were experimenting on him, he took, like, a solid, gigantic needle to his heart, and they couldn't put him on any kind of, like, stuff to, like, knock him out, because it would just not affect him, because his healing would just kick in and be like, nope. So he was awake that whole process, and after it came out of his heart, and they got all they wanted from his heart, it just healed up completely. after he was presumed dead. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was going on around him in that year. And what ends up happening here is this. So Deku, after meeting up with Bakugo, who Bakugo says he kind of feels bad for him because he was taken away and experimented on, and everybody just feels bad for him. They all see him as, like, some see him as a monster, some see him as still weak and all that. And he's kind of got that thing around his neck or something, like, on hot days he's, like, got this thing on his neck that you see in Hellboy 1, and it kind of provides that water for him so he can, like, have his skin hydrate and all that shit. And it doesn't dry up. So what ends up happening is this. On cold, well, I would say it's, like, not even cold days. I would say it's, like, fine weather days, like, where he doesn't need that thing. Rainy days, too. He's, like, able to go without it. So there's that. And what do you have hair now? Sapien didn't have hair. And he had hair when he was human, so nope. And what's going to happen here is this. When Deku, he goes back, and I would say right around when the thing rolls around, he is toned more. Like, he's more fit because he's already getting, like, way too smart. Like, he gets up to a 10th grade level in 3 days. He's already at, like, like, college level stuff in a matter of, like, a week. And he was just going through a library in, like, 5 hours. He was kind of, like, past 15th grade. And he was reading, like, 15 books at the same time. That's how fast he's going. And what ends up happening is this. Deku, seeing how high in grade he is, when he hits 15, he's, like, the super genius of the class, and no one really can hate him. They're just all, like, impressed that he has such an ability now. And Bakugo is just completely... He feels bad because it's like he's got to live such a life. And also it's kind of like a hassle to deal with him because he can't bully him. Otherwise, people would realize because of the fish skin. Once you hit it with fire, it's just going to dry up, and he can't hide that. So, yeah, everybody has to, like, not use any fire quirks around him. Ice quirks they can, but they can't use any fire quirks around him. Because it would dry up his skin and harm him really badly. And that would take a while to heal a little bit. But not a lot of people know he has, like, that insane healing factor, so hey, hush. What ends up happening, though, what ends up happening is this. Deku, being the badass he is and freaking got the balls he has, raises his hand to go to UA. Everybody's shocked, and yeah, it's about it, really. Everybody's just shocked to hear that he wants to go to UA. And how Deku gets home is kind of simple. To prevent, seeing how it's a hot day today, he has to actually take a quicker route, not the long route, so he can get home and not have his skin dry out too quickly. And when he gets home, he doesn't get encountered the Sledgehammer. He never encountered it at all. So, no, One For All. One For All is not going to go to Mirio because I would say All Might would have a change of heart. And look at Mirio. It's not going to do anything for his quirk. It's really not. Let's be honest. It's like, come on, phasing through stuff? Come on, man. Come on. There's some better stuff than that. So, here's the interesting part. The interesting part is this. Deku is going to be overpowered in this exam. Written exam, he aces it, by the way. In 10 months of training, he's just reading. In the written exam, he actually completes it in 20 minutes. 20 fucking minutes. That's a record, by the way. He breaks a freaking record. And that kind of like spooks some of the teachers that he finished so fast. And when he gets onto the they're gonna give him like the physical test because they want to know how good he is, and he nails that. He's actually somewhat above the natural human. And some of the teachers kind of remember them in their Heroes days as that kid that was a fish boy. So they kind of figured, yeah, you know what, he is going to be having some strength enhancements there. So they just figured, yeah, he's going to be fine. And they kind of wanted to do this just because he was free and they really didn't need to, but they just kind of wanted to know some things just to understand where he's at. And then you got crap, what is it called? It starts with a P. You know what exam I'm talking about with the robots. The robot exam. We're gonna go with that. I can't remember what it's called. I'm gonna have to ask Lazy later. But anyways, he does that. And what ends up happening there is this. Deku, being overpowered, pretty much just, seeing how he's able to have a better strength and speed, and I would say, yeah, it's basically it. And by the way, the marksmanship here that they say, let's be honest, that was all because he was using guns, alright? Let's be honest. Alright, so when in the, robot exam, he's basically most of the time just, helping people out. Like, yeah, he's taking out a few robots. I would say right around when, the giant robot comes around, he sees Araka and he gets her out of there. And when he gets her out of there, he throws her away because the robot, well, it pretty much just swats him away. Yeah, he goes into a building and hits rebar. Gets impaled by a bunch, and when the recovery girl comes out, she grabs him, pulls him off it, and kisses him. And holy crap, does his injuries heal way quicker than they should have been. Like, normally it would be kind of like Logan, but they just went... And they kind of just worked on overtime. Recover the girl didn't know that he had a healing factor, apparently. So what ended up happening here is this. Yeah, Deku, he basically kicks ass. No, well, not kicks ass, but really just spooks the crap out of people that he can just get up after taking a hit, mostly like that, a little bit. And I would say he gets around a passing grade to get in, and he gets into Class 1A. Because, why not? So, Class 1A, he's going to have Aizawa. And when he gets to school on the first day, he's going to have that, thing on his neck. And his hero suit, I will show you his hero suit in the next video, but what is basically going to happen is this. Deku, he's going to see Aizawa, and Aizawa is going to be kind of shook that he sees him because he knows what he can do and what he can't do. They actually had to test it with Aizawa, see how far he can go without, how much his quirk can nullify the quirks that he's got. And yeah, so it really didn't nullify them that much because it basically became a part of him. So, enhanced strength, yeah, that's still there. And basically what happened is this. God, I'm getting a headache from this. And blanking a lot. Yeah, so Aizawa, he sees him, he's shook. They sees him, but let's first get to the part where basically everyone's asking you what his quirk is, and he explains he has multiple, because when he was a kid, he was kidnapped and experimented on by some mad doctor or whatever. This mad scientist. And no one knows who he was. So, he got away. Then we got, Raka says, thank you for saving me. A lot of people are in there actually just to really like really trying to be nice on him because they see how he is and they just like amazed by how cool he is, like just what he probably can do, and they see the gills, they see all that, and it's just really amazing to them. And they see the flippers and they're just really amazed. And what ends up happening is Bakugo kind of just comes up to him and whispers into his ear. I would say that, no, wait, better yet, he whispered into his ear when they were walking in, to not, to if there's anyone that bothers them, just let them know. And that's the best thing about that. And after explaining how his quirk works, Todoroki is kind of feeling bad. Well, he has more of a reason not to use his fire. And now we got, as Alex proposes the physical exam, and, well, Mignetta gets expelled. No, everybody stays in class 1A, and no one gets expelled. But I'm just gonna say, Deku gets an average grade. He gets in there averagely, like middle in everything. And yeah. So you're gonna have to see what happens in Heroes versus Villains to see what's gonna actually happen. So yeah. Have a good day and a good night. Peace out.